Inflate muscles quickly. Muscle amplification process. Muscles are inflated by straining them with exercise until they are destroyed, and after demolition they are fed with protein to rebuild themselves, building the muscle itself so that it becomes stronger and larger than it was, so that it can adapt itself to exhausting daily exercises. Such exercises are not random, but rather organized for every muscle in the body, and with a certain number of repetitions. Ways to amplify muscles. Lifting a heavy weight. The lifting of heavy weights with a repeated movement so that the muscle to be inflated is used to raise this weight, and to repeat these movements repeatedly leads to fatigue and demolition of the muscle, and this is the definition of bodybuilding exercises. The allocation of a daily schedule for exercises, so that each muscle in the body has a day per week devoted to carrying out its exercises, leads to the inflation of the body's muscles in an orderly and relatively fast manner. Diversification of exercise factors. The common problem among bodybuilders is the stability of muscle size at a certain size after a certain, unspecified period, and after that, whatever they practice and continue to exercise, their bodies will remain fixed at this limit, and this is due to the body's adaptation to the same activity and the same factors. Therefore, it is preferable to change the exercise schedule after continuing for a period of 2 to 4 months. Among the other factors that affect the body's continued benefit is the increase in weights used in the exercise, and the increase must be gradual to avoid injuries, and make the body adapt to this increase, and it is preferable to increase the weights by a small amount from one week to another, while preserving the number of repetitions of each exercise. Exercising one muscle more than once a week. One of the things that slow down the amplification of the body is exercising each muscle only once a week, as schedules can be followed that allow exercising one muscle twice or more per week. As a simple example of such schedules: exercise the back and biceps muscles, days 1 and 4. Exercise the chest muscle, triceps muscle, and shoulder muscle, days 2 and 5. Leg muscles exercise days 3 and 6. This schedule, for example, exercises one muscle twice a week with the opportunity for each muscle to take a period of rest, whereas, the period of rebuilding the large muscles, such as the chest, back, and leg, is approximately 3 days, while the small muscles such as the arm and shoulder are from 1 to 2 days. Get enough rest. Despite the importance of food without which the muscle cannot be rebuilt, rest is more important than food. As it is the most important factor in muscle rebuilding, it is required to take complete rest on days when no exercise is completed. This works to rebuild muscle cells faster. It is important to note that rest is also required during the exercise itself, so it is recommended to take a rest between 30 seconds to 60 seconds between rounds of the same exercise, and from 90 seconds to 3 minutes between exercises, taking into account that the muscle does not become cold due to the delay in rest, as if a muscle becomes cold, it decreases its performance and increases the likelihood of injuries, especially muscle tears. Get enough protein each day. Where protein is the first food source to rebuild the muscle after demolition, and in the event that the body is not satisfied with its need for protein to rebuild the muscle, it will stop building, and the muscle will remain exhausted and destroyed, which leads to the possibility of weakening this muscle and obtaining unwanted adverse results. It is always preferable for the bodybuilder to eat large quantities of foods that contain protein, in addition to using synthetic proteins to cover the percentage that cannot be covered by eating alone. Focus on passive movement during exercise. The repetitive movement can be divided into 2 parts. The first part is the positive movement. The second part is the negative movement. An example of this: when performing a bench press exercise, the process of lifting up is the positive part, but when descending to the bottom along the chest, This is the negative part. Many bodybuilding practitioners are not interested in this part of the movement, and this may be one of the reasons for the stability of their body growth at a certain limit, as the passive movement part of exercise constitutes a great deal of muscle growth much more than the positive movement part. That is, when going down with the bar towards the chest, and this is the greatest benefit from exercise. Not being influenced by other people's bodies. It should be noted that it is very rare to go to bodybuilding clubs and not find people with large and beautiful bodies, in addition to their ability to carry very heavy weights, so this should not affect the psyche of a novice bodybuilder, since whoever owns such bodies maybe he worked hard to get to what he is, because comparing the novice his body to the bodies of professional players is a dangerous matter. This matter will not only frustrate the novice player, but also lead to his being led to lifting very heavy weights, which his body cannot carry, which will lead to injuries serious, including permanent herniated disc injury, or severe rupture of muscles. The novice player should only challenge himself, and work to be better every week than he was in the last week. Feeling of pain after exercise. Feeling pain in a muscle during or after an exercise does not mean that the exercise is being practiced in a wrong way, but on the contrary, it means that the exercise destroys the muscle as required, so when you exercise any muscle, pain must often follow after waking up from sleep the next day. Try most of these recipes and share your experience with us. If you like video, give it like and share with your friends. For more tips and tricks, subscribe the channel.